Hello and welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the still point. And in these next series of videos, we're going to do some small practices. So I don't want to make these videos too long, but I want you to understand how to explore these different spaces. Or more importantly, as I start to share practices with you, I want you to get an understanding, a vision, an image of the space that you are exploring in the breath. And so this still point is the moment of stillness in the breath where you can either inhale or exhale. And we're going to do a little practice, but before we begin, what we're working with is the area around the tidal volume. So the volume that you are breathing in this moment as you're listening to me is the tidal volume. For some people, it's a little bigger, a little smaller. That's information for another video. But the tidal volume, our everyday breath, and it sits around this still point. In the still point, I can inhale, hold, and then exhale, just let the air come out, come to the still point. From the still point, I'm not even going to inhale, but I could still exhale to engage. When I release that engagement and I inhale, I just let the air passively come in and I come back to the still point. From the still point, I can inhale. And I can relax the air out like a sigh, right? And I come back to the still point. From the sigh, I could forcefully or engage my abs to slowly let air out and work my exhale volume. Now, many of the practices that are popular today are really only in this space. The Buteyko method works mainly with this volume, but it comes down. They tell you to take a small inhale and then let the air out. They come back and work around the subtle space around this tidal volume. The Wim Hof, or any form of hyperventilation breath, is working this inhale volume. He says, get as much air out as you can and then barely let any air out. And let as much air in, and then kind of let it fall out. Again, still working this inhale volume. And now we have to ask the question, what works this exhale volume? So that's going to be kind of where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to be exploring this space. But today, I want to keep it simple, and I want you to start to be able to come to the still point consciously. So go ahead, and if you're sitting in a chair, sit up nice and tall, sit on the ground, whatever. You can even lie down if you'd like. So place the hand. This breath is going to be kind of right in the middle, right in the center. Not too low, not too high, just right in that space behind the belly button, maybe a little above it. And you're going to place your hand there. This is the bottom of the lungs, the bottom of the ribs, the second of the three spaces of the torso, the three chambers. Again, another video, I'll describe that. So much to explore. And I want you just to notice your subtle breath. It's going to be really small, and the subtle breath, again, is the most important. It is your everyday breath. This is the mileage, where you spend your mileage. Now I want you to inhale a small amount of air. Inhale a little more. Hold. Now let the air just fall out naturally. Pause. Inhale. Inhale. Hold. And let it fall out. Pause. That's the still point. Now let the breath naturally flow here. I'll take a small inhale. Let the air fall out. Pause for a moment. Now try to exhale further. You can exhale out the mouth or the nose. You're going to feel the abs engage. Hold the abs. Inhale, release, and inhale. And let the air naturally flow in. Again, exhale. I would suggest out the mouth. It's going to give a little more force, and hold it. Inhale to release it. A couple more. Exhale. Engage the abs. Inhale. Release, coming back to the still point. And you can play around with this. And for some of you, you may be slightly confused by the exhale volume because it may have not yet been explored. So if this simple practice brought on a state of, what the fuck, slight confusion, you know you're getting somewhere. It's not getting fully frustrated and going, why don't I know this? And this is where the do you notice comes in. Ask yourself questions. Can I clearly see the space that she's trying to get me to see? And when you can see that, then we can move fluidly along this whole spectrum of our total lung capacity. And within this spectrum of exploration, we can put that into later a breaths per minute scale. So you can see all of these things can be broken down into principles so that we can better understand what we're learning, what we're teaching. Actually, I just got off the phone with a friend. It was like, well, I want you to teach me somatic breathing. I was like, so can you tell me what specifically that breathing pattern is? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, we make it seem so elusive. Really, unfortunately, the answer is a little elusive. It's every pattern can be a somatic or a trauma releasing pattern. It really depends on the person. And I can get more into this later, but in order to explore maybe some internal trauma in yourself, it's really important to know the spaces that you are exploring and be able to see them. And as you create that image, then I can share with you everything that I've created. I have to get you to create the image in order for you to understand the things that I want to teach you. So that is the still point. Please take some time each day to practice finding this space, going from the inhale volume to the exhale volume and back to the center. And yes, enjoy this practice. Please feel free to comment, ask questions. I am filming more videos, so stay tuned, and thank you for listening.